Yeah, I'm going to U-turn out as he's basically undoubtedly going to go for another Calm Mind as I go straight into my Victini as he goes for a second Calm Mind. So now this Magearna is going to be +2 behind a sub, and all I have to show for it is getting rid of its Akaberry and having rocks up. Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I got into this position. Well, for that story, I think it's best that we start right from the beginning. What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you week 5 of season 2 of the APA Academy, and this week we are up against Lux and his Lily Cove Lopunnicos? I don't even know how to say it, but either way, before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button as it helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. But anyway, on to the team. Like I said, we are up against Lux, and his team consists of Magearna, Megalop, Deoxys N, so just the regular Deoxys, Crocodile, Rotom Heat, Tentacruel, Serena, Noivern, Lycanroc, Dusk, Ditto, Alolan Marowak, and the GOAT Smeargle. So yeah, looking at his team, it's very top heavy in my opinion, but at the same time, Magearna, Megalop, and Deoxys are all absolutely insane threats. Like, holy crap, those guys are so ridiculously terrifying that this is going to be rough. That being said, I do have a really, really good matchup against the rest of his mons, and I even am a fan of my matchup against the first 3 to an extent. I mean, Megalop is able to run Adamant in this game, and that poses all sorts of problems. So really just the whole crux of this team is not letting Magearna, Megalop, or Deoxys get out of control, and then hopefully the rest of my mons will be able to come through and win me the game. So as you can see, I'm going with a Trick Room mode. I believe I've brought it once or twice to this point in the season. I honestly don't remember my first 4 weeks. I know I brought it at least once. I might have brought it twice. I don't know. But either way, going with a Trick Room mode this week, and I do have to be careful because even though Lop and Deoxys are really crippled by Trick Room, Magearna takes really good advantage of that, especially because it is naturally slower than like my Victini and me Dialga. Wow, I is good at English. It is naturally slower than my Victini and Dialga, and if Lux is smart, he's going to put it at minus speed and min speed so that it will be able to underspeed those guys or outspeed them in Trick Room, so that will be difficult and something I do have to look out for. But anyway, the first mon on my team is going to be Dialga because, surprise, surprise, Dialga and Zygarde are both being brought to this game once again. I mean, that's just kind of something you can expect every week. Like, yeah, I'm bringing Dialga, I'm bringing Zygarde. If my opponents know it, cool, I'm bringing my 2 Ubers. There you go. But yeah, Dialga is just going to be a Trick Room 3 attack with Trick Room Fire Blast for the Magearna. Dragon Pulse is nice and spammable against the rest of his team. And then Aura Sphere is just kind of a, yeah, you know what, let's just cover our bases. We can hit Ditto coming in for super effective damage. It was just kind of like one of those last coverage moves. Maybe I wanted to hit Crocodile for a little bit extra, hit Lop for a little bit extra. Like, the damage calcs weren't like super significant, but it was one of those cases that they would be just enough, and I didn't necessarily need that last move on Dialga to where I could afford to run Aura Sphere just to have coverage to really punish and pressure his team. The defense with the Chople Berry is enough to guaranteed live a, I believe it's an Adamant Megalops high jump, well, obviously live an Adamant Megalops high jump kick. But basically, I'm pretty sure that the investment, I actually don't remember what the investment was for. It was to definitely, like, I have the Chople Berry to live high jump kick, but then I think it might have been to live superpower into superpower from Deoxys N once it got to -1. Next up is going to be a Sucker Punch, Play Rough, Ironhead knockoff Mawile, Mega Mawile at that, and this is a more offensive variant, but definitely trying to take advantage of the Trick Room while also taking advantage of my typing, as this thing really is a nice stop to Deoxys, as the only thing Deoxys has to hit me super effectively are physical moves in Fire Punch and Stomping Tantrum. Intimidate is a nice way to neutralize those, and yes, while taking Psycho Boost is not my favorite thing in the world, Mawile is still very, very bulky, and I should be able to take those well enough to eliminate Deoxys as a threat. If I'm able to trade my Mega Maw for his Deoxys, rather. Wish I had Deoxys. But yeah, if I can trade Mega Maw for his Deoxys, I will actually take that, because even though Maw is super good against this team, Deoxys is terrifying for me to have to deal with, and also has enough priority and coverage to really pressure my team otherwise. Just a very standard dual stab knockoff sucker punch, nothing really too fancy about the moveset, and then just a nice mixed defensive with enough offensive firepower in order to apply some pressure. Next up is going to be a Resto Chesto Rotom with Volt Switch, Rest, Hydro Pump, and Will-O-Wisp. Just nice coverage against his team, get some momentum. Rotom is just kind of a blanket check to some stuff, like being able to just switch in, maybe take 1 or 2 hits from certain mons. Like, Rotom isn't there for anything necessarily in particular. It's just nice to have, particularly against like Sticky Web, if he chooses to bring that, even though, yeah, I'm not getting rid of it, and I do have Trick Room. Actually, I don't, you know what, forget it. Sticky Web, that's not a problem, because I do have Trick Room. But yeah, Rotom is just like kind of a nice middle ground, and also, you know, so Crocodile doesn't absolutely demolish me, because I'm not able to run Colbur Berry on my Mesprit this week. You'll see why in a second. Rotom is a nice way of Crocodile not being able to just sweep me with Earthquake. Then again, I do also have a Zygarde, so I don't even know what I'm rambling about with my Rotom anymore. It's just a nice coverall anyway. On to Victini, because I was rambling and not really, I was just talking myself in circles. But anyway, Victini is my second Trick Roomer, and this is a completely physical Victini this week, with Trick Room, V-Create, U-Turn, and Zen Headbutt. Look at his team, and look at Victini's dual stab. If Stealth Rock are up, he has absolutely no switch-ins. Like, V-Create demolishes stuff. Like, Rotom Heat and Tentacruel both resist. Neither of them like taking it, especially from a Charcoal Victini. Like, this thing just absolutely claims lives. It is absurd. The HP and defense, I believe, was some sort of combination investment to live an Adamant return after rocks. I think that's what I did to maximize the EVs, but I mean, just very straightforward. U-turn is also nice for, like, say the Crocodile comes in and intimidates me. I'm able to U-turn out on that thing, hit it super effectively, but while not subjecting myself to a super effective knockoff or Earthquake. Next up is going to be my main Mega Lop counter in my Mesprit with Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt, and Knockoff. Plain and simple, this thing is for the Mega Lop. Like, yeah, it's there for the Mega Lop. It's there to get rocks up, which are really nice for chipping down the Rotom, chipping down the Deoxys, getting a little bit of damage on Mega Lop. Like, it really doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, rocks are always nice and are always influential in the game, but just, yeah, this thing is there for Megalop, just being able to switch in, avoid a 2-hit KO from Adamant return, get damage off with Rocky Helmet, and finish it off with Zen Headbutt. That is what Mesprit is designed to do. The combination of U-Turn and Knockoff are just good support against the rest of his team. And then, yeah, just very defensive with a little bit of speed for a creep. And finally, we have my dedicated Crocodile switch-in a... Actually, I believe this is the most defensive Zygarde I have run all season in a Dragon Dance 1000 Arrows Extreme Speed Substitute Zygarde. Just super, super defensive, because his main threats are physical, like Megalop, Crocodile, and yeah, just those two. Well, and also Alolan Marowak, because if I'm bringing a Trick Room team and I'm against Alolan Marowak, I better have a pretty darn good response to that thing in Zygarde. Zygarde can switch into an Alolan Marowak with Trick Room up and still beat it 1v1 like super easily. There are not a lot of mons that are able to say that, but Zygarde is definitely one of those, and yeah, it's just super, super good in this matchup. Also able to take Ice Punches from Adamant Lop. It's able to take on Crocodile every single day of the week, Lycanroc Dusk. Like, it's just so, so good in this matchup that I couldn't not bring it, and it's just a very basic, very, very defensive set that I need for this game. So yeah, that is the team. Let's just go ahead and hop right on over to the battle. Alrighty, here we are in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that there is no Crocodile, no Tentacruel, no Serena, no Ditto, or no... well, and no Smeargle. So Smeargle, I don't have to worry about any shenanigans from that thing. Crocodile and Tentacruel were like the only things, or Crocodile and Serena, sorry, not Tentacruel. Crocodile and Serena were the only things really standing in the way of Zygarde, because looking at his team, he has negative switch-ins to Zygarde. Like, there is nothing on his team that isn't 2-hit KO'd, barring some really weird bulky spreads. So Zygarde is looking absolutely essential in this game, but also, considering that his only removal could be Noivern and that thing will get chipped down by rocks. Rocks are going to be an absolute priority for me. So I am going to just lead off with my Mesprit, get my rocks up early, and really just go from there. So yeah, I'm going to lead off my Mesprit, and let's just hop right on into it. So like I said, Mesprit is the lead of choice just because rocks are up immediately. There is nothing he can immediately do to threaten my Mesprit out or even just Oko it straight up. So yeah, just getting up rocks will be super, super nice as he does lead off with his Magearna, and I'm thinking, okay, instead of getting rocks up immediately, I'm just going to go straight for the knockoff, get rid of this thing's item because I know it can't have Z because Magearna is too good without Z, as he goes for a substitute. So I'm like, okay, this is a sub Magearna. I mean, it probably has 3 attacks, and if it has Calm Mind, well, I'll deal with that when he shows it off, as I do get my rocks up on this next turn, as there's nothing I can do to break his sub in one hit, as he does go for the Calm Mind. So this is a sub Calm Mind 2 attacks Magearna. I'm thinking that the 2 attacks are going to be Flare Cannon and Thunderbolt, but unfortunately, because of Mesprit in and it can't break the sub in one hit, I am going to have to switch out and have to deal with a Magearna that is +2/+2 and behind a sub. So yeah, I'm going to U-turn out as he's basically undoubtedly going to go for another Calm Mind as I go straight into my Victini as he goes for a second Calm Mind. So now this Magearna is going to be +2/+2 behind a sub, and all I have to show for it is getting rid of its Akaberry and having rocks up. So yeah, this is a really bad situation, and because my Victini is not slower than this Magearna naturally because of, you know, I mean, I have it slower, but I EV'd this to be in Trick Room, and he undoubtedly EV'd his Magearna to be slow as well to take advantage of my Trick Room. I just kind of had to make the call, like I have to go for a V-Create and hope that he doesn't think that I'll straight up go for V-Create, as I knew that I'd be able to live 1 Thunderbolt from +2/+2 modest Magearna, and if he went for another attack, he would knock out my Victini, but at that point it was kind of a, okay, I might still be faster than him at -1 because his Magearna is so slow, so luckily he does not make the call that I would be a Trick Room Victini. The mixed bulk comes in handy because it shows that I am not a max HP variant. So yeah, that ultimately comes into play as I go into my Dialga to try to just take the Thunderbolt and then Fire Blast to put it in range of Zygarde, as he actually doubled into his Marowak, and this is a perfect opportunity because Marowak is really just kind of annoying for me in general. Like, getting rid of this Marowak would be very nice as it's something that I don't have to switch into later, and he goes for the Flare Blitz and he actually gets the burn, and that really sucks because now with the Chople Berry, because of the burn, I will not be able to take a Lopunny's high jump kick, so that really, really sucks. And now I'm just going to go straight into my Zygarde because I know that this can take on anything that Marowak wants to do. He already got the burn, so odds are he is not going to get it a second time, and luckily he does not. So now with my Zygarde in against the Marowak, if he wants to go for a knockoff, that is completely fine with me. There is really nothing Marowak can do in order to threaten Zygarde out. I think the best move he would have to hit me is Icy Wind, in which case, I mean, because I Dragon Danced, got up to +1 speed, he would just bring me down to neutral, and then I'd still be a +1 Zygarde against his team, as he actually reveals the Perish Song, so that's very, very cool. We'll cut short my sweep drastically, but nonetheless, I still have a +1/+1 Zygarde that he has to deal with for a couple of turns. So I go straight for the 1,000 Arrows, knocks out the Marowak, we are able to claim our first kill of the game, and even though Zygarde only has 2 more turns, actually, yeah, it only has 2 more turns at the absolute most because I don't want this thing, or 1 more turn, sorry, I don't want Zygarde. Oh, Zygarde only has 1 more potential turn to attack. I don't want this thing going down early because it is so good in this game. Goes into Noivern, and I'm thinking, okay, this thing is a Scarf variant, it can knock me out with Draco, so I switch right into my Rotom as he goes for Draco, and unfortunately misses. That does suck, but I would have just been able to Resto Chesto as he would have been -2, and yeah, with Marowak gone, this does allow a completely free Volt Switch from me as he goes into his Magearna. Another reason that I wanted that Marowak on is because even though I suspected that he was Rockhead, getting rid of that thing and getting rid of the potential Lightning Rod that it could have had to prevent Volt Switch is really, really nice. Although then again, Rotom could have just Hydro Pumped it, but clicking Volt Switch mindlessly is always nice, as in this situation, he goes into his Magearna, I Volt Switch into my Zygarde, and Zygarde is immediately able to pick up its second KO of the game, knocking that thing out with 1,000 Arrows and putting me just really in like the perfect spot. He does go into his Deoxys right here, as I'm thinking, okay, he brings in Deoxys on Zygarde. I've already shown that I'm pretty bulky, so I'm thinking that he'll just go for the Ice Beam and knock me out, so I am taking this opportunity to sack off my Victini, because even though Victini really didn't do a whole lot, it staved off the Magearna and forced it to switch out, because otherwise I would have been in a really, really bad position as he goes for the Cosmic Power. And at first I was thinking, oh crap, this is gonna really, really suck. But then I remembered what Mon I was against, and I was like, wait, this is a Deoxys N. Like, it's, even if it's going for Cosmic Power, its base defenses are still 50s across the board. So Mega Mawile, even though it's pretty bulky, still should be able to take this thing on really nicely. And not seeing any item, I'm thinking, okay, this thing has to be a Colbur Berry variant. So not wanting to proc the Colbur Berry, and I mean, this was a little bit of, I don't know, it was a little bit of like a misidea on my part. Like, I didn't think this through fully. Instead of going for the knockoff immediately, I'm just going to go for multiple play roughs, because I know that will do consistent damage, and as you can see, it does well over 50 to where he will not be able to recover stall me out of it. And yeah, I mean, just puts me in a much better position, because I'm thinking he has to have the Colbur Berry. I just have to hit like 4 or 5 play roughs in a row, and I will be able to beat this thing 1v1, as it does end up turning out that he has the Pinch Berry, so I should have 100% gone for knockoff, as that actually would have just gotten rid of him right off the bat. So a little bit of a insight in my opinion, as he does go for the Nasty Plot, and so this is very obvious that this Deoxys is mono attacking, and I do miss a play rough right there. That is beside the point. But yeah, this Deoxys is terrifying because, well, it's not super terrifying, because I mean, it is mono psychic with Cosmic Power, Nasty Plot, and Recover, and I mean, it's still gonna hurt, but my Mawile is bulky enough. I am just gonna start spamming knockoff at this point, because I should have just done that from the beginning. I don't know, I didn't think it fully through why I clicked play rough all the time. Like, I know why I did, but that was not the best play. The best play was just to go for knockoff immediately, get rid of that Colbur Berry, and then just do consistent, super effective damage against this thing. Yeah, with the Colbur Berry gone, or with the item gone rather, knockoff is doing, I believe, 5 base power less, but still, just hitting every single time is more valuable than that 5 extra base power, as Mawile is able to take that Psychic super easily and knock out this Deoxys with a knockoff. Now he's going to go into his Rotom, and there are 2 plays he could go for. He could go for Overheat or a Hidden Power Ice, trying to predict my Zygarde. Of the plays that he could do, I'm thinking Volt Switch is not one of them, so I'm going to go into my Rotom, as he actually predicts the Zygarde. So I mean, Rotom just covered both the Overheat and the predicting Zygarde play, and so now that I'm in, I'm going to click Hydro Pump, as nothing on his team wants to take it. As it turns out, I'm actually faster, so my decent creep ends up catching him as he goes for the Volt Switch and does a decent little chunk to me. So he is going to end up switching out. He's nearly dead to rocks at this point. Like, if he comes in, he's going to live, but it won't be with much. And he goes into his Noivern, and I'm like, whatever, Rotom's done its job at this point. Like, if he wants to knock me out with a Draco, that is just fine with me. I'm going to stay in and go for the Volt Switch, as I do catch him going for the U-turn, and I will be able to smack something on the switch. Like, if he wanted to go Lopunny, if he wanted to stay in and I lived against Noivern, I would have taken that thing out, as he does end up sacking off his Rotom, and this is really fantastic for me, because what this affords me is the opportunity to go back into my Mawile and just kind of force his hand. Like, if he goes into Lop, he has to go for High Jump Kick, which is the perfect opportunity to get my Mesprit in on the High Jump Kick and the Rocky Helmet. And if he goes into Noivern, well, I have not revealed the Sucker Punch yet, so this is a perfect chance to go for that, as he actually does not predict that, and I am able to catch the Noivern, bringing it down to 5v1. I still have a full health Mesprit against this Lop, and I will, barring any freezes or flinches or misses, I should be able to win this game. So instead of just letting Mawile go down, I'm going to go straight into Mesprit to get it in on the High Jump Kick, because I know that High Jump Kick into return will not be able to KO me, and I will be able to one-shot this thing, and I just want to get as much Rocky Helmet damage on this Lop as I possibly can, because I know that he'll have to 3-hit KO me, and that just puts me in a much better position for maybe even Zygarde to be able to take a hit and take it down with the 1,000 arrows as well. So he is going to go for the Ice Punch, realizing that his only out is to freeze me, but luckily that does not happen. We are able to go for the Zen Headbutt, and we are able to take out the Mega Lop, so we are able to take that game 5-0 against a very, very scary team. I mean, quite frankly, when that Magearna got up to +2/+2 behind a sub, I was really, really scared because if he had just gone for a sub one more time with his Magearna against my Victini, it would have outsped on the next turn, and it would have been able to knock me out because I would potentially be at -2, and yeah, that would have just been all sorts of bad. Like, they're really, well, I mean, okay, I guess he wouldn't have been able to get behind a sub, and like it would have eventually gotten my Zygarde in, I think. Yeah, because I would have been at -1 as he got up a second sub, and then he would go for the Thunderbolt. It wouldn't quite knock me out as I did V-Create, and then Zygarde would have been able to come in and Thousand Arrows. So, I mean, either way, Victini just made a very, very scary situation turn into one that was basically nullified. So even though Victini just kind of died early on, it still did something that was incredibly invaluable to the team, and we are able to take that game. So GG to Lux. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.